Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. If you're like me, you've often wondered about the process that kind of goes behind making an eyeshadow palette. Oh, well, let's discuss. Arttitude Cosmetics are coming out with this palette. It's currently, as I'm filming, October, but this is coming out at spring, so probably as you're watching now. Oh, that's right, we're in the past. And I'm talking about some of the early formulations of this particular palette. It is the Maneater. So talking about trying to get the formulas right, the feedback between the consumer, i.e. me, and the developer, i.e. Ruks from Arttitude Cosmetics. So if you want to see some of the back and forth of that and the behind the scenes of making a palette, oh my goodness, fantastic. You'll get to see kind of the first stages of the palette and essentially what is left, what we land on. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then do please keep on watching. Is this a cohesive look? Not really, but my kind of rationale for doing this was I wanted to take some of the shades kind of to go through its paces because I have to get back to Ruks as to what it is that I think of it. So I figured I'd kind of see, is this going to be deep enough for the fact that there is no black. This one and this one, they're quite similar. How is this working? This one didn't swatch great, so I wanted to see what that looked like. And then I was like, fuck it. Some of these shims, beautiful. Let's see how they actually operate. So that was the rationale as to why I went for the shades that I kind of was looking at here with this. So you're going to come on a journey with me now as I'm kind of showing you how they look. Like, this isn't a typical sort of a review. This is giving you an idea of like how a palette comes together. Now, I still feel like, I mean, Beast is fine. It's this brown, but I think we need a black. And personally, I kind of want either this shade or this shade to go. Now, Ruks is very like, no, I like them both. And I'm like, I want a black. I want a black in there. And there was talk about potentially omitting this shade for it, which I can kind of see. So we're going to have a meeting soon to kind of discuss that. But fuck it, let's get into it. I'm using this Blend Bunny B4 and I'm going into Beast, which is that very dark brown shade, because I wanted to see would this be sufficient all by itself, because it's the deepest shade, to give me a bit of depth. And I mean, it's good. It's really, really nice pigment, but I feel, again, I think I may have to like argue Ruks on this. Ruks is lovely, by the way, but I am like this person who's just like, a black in every palette. Like, no, Teresa, it probably isn't necessary, but like, for me to deepen a look, that's what I really like. But you can see, I mean, I'm really happy with how it's operating because I'm getting that pigment straight on there. So she was asking me to see like what the mattes etc were like. So like, so far so good. I'll have some more plays, but these were the kind of the shades that I really wanted to test out for the moment. I'm taking a Cash Beauty brush and I'm going into the shade Camouflage. Now, I did point out to Ruks that this is misspelled, so we're going to talk about this. Also, when I swatched this, it was initially quite patchy. So I wanted to see, because I mean, obviously, you can't go 100% on swatches. So I wanted to see, well, how is it going to apply? How is it going to blend? And actually, I was very happy with this. So because she was asking me, did that one need to be reformulated? And based upon this, I don't think it does. Like, it seems to be working really well. Now, this is my kind of shade of green. It's like murky, grungy. It's like the poop of a newborn child. So I'm kind of here for it. I'm really enjoying it. You can see it blends really well, and there's a good level of pigmentation. So I think, yeah, she's grand with the formula on this one, in my opinion. May have to test the other shades out on Sahil, see what they look like. Okay, I kind of wanted to talk about these two shades here. So there's Hunter and there's Feline. And in my mind, the two of them look relatively similar. Although I can see one is much more pinky toned leaning. So I can see why she's kind of going for these. I'm just probably being a bit pedantic on it. Like, they are different enough. But I'm just being very critiquey. She's like, I'll never do anything with Teresa again. She's such a bitch. And I'm like, fair. I'm just taking the Spectrum B11 and I'm going into that shade Hunter. Now, this one is actually super pigmented. This is where I could really contrast it against Camouflage, because when you look at this one, like, it just goes straight on, wabam, and it pretty much almost overrides Beast, which is that brown. So this is why I'm like, okay, we definitely need a black in here. Like, this needs to happen. And I will say though, I think this color story is just spectacular. That grunge with those pops of color. Now, as I'm filming, it's October 12th actually, and I'm getting ready to do releases and rants. So I know that Ruks was talking about having this for possibly spring. So I'm filming this way in advance, but it's just to give you an idea of like the behind the scenes. But yeah, I think this is pretty darn good. This shade is going down pretty well, mixing quite nicely. Now I'm just taking my blank canvas E10 and I'm going into Siberian, which is a yellow. And the thing is, like, yellows are obviously like, they're such a bitch to get right and get them to be super pigmented. I have to say, when I'm blending this in here with Camouflage, zero issue. Like, look at that, it's still super pigmented. It's not getting over kind of powered by the other shades. So actually really happy with how that comes out. I think it felt like there was a bit of a sparkle when I saw it initially, but it could just be that I didn't clean my brushes right. Always a possibility with me, because I'm a lazy bitch. But look at that. I mean, I'm going to go over all of these shades again, but off camera, so you don't have to see that nonsense. But you can kind of see just how easily it's merging with the rest. So like, I'm here for it. And then let's see how it merges with the other shade. Is it Hunter? I mean, yeah, look at that. That's going well. Give me a little bit of warmth in here. So yeah, it's even managing to get to the points of my eyebrow that, like near my eyebrow, that never manages to get things to stick properly. So that's nice. Right, I'm gonna just finish off this. I'm going to like go in, build color, etc. And then we'll come back and I want to show you basically the shimmers. Okay, so we're going into the cut crease bit. This is all shimmers and I'm being bold because I'm not using a glitter glue primer. I just want to see what this is like, if anything needs to change. And I really wanted to go into the shade Bengal because fuck me, when I swatched that, even Sahil was like, oh, what is that? What is that? And it is quite nice. Now I was like, okay, let's just use a little bit. And I'm just gonna pop in there, but oh my god, like look at that pigmentation straight away. And like, this isn't exactly like a brush that is great for putting on shimmers. It's great for a cut crease and kind of giving your overall thing, but like, look at that. Like straight away, brilliant shimmer. Yeah, that one, tick. That one's fine. You don't need to do anything with that one, Ruks. Leave it to be is all I can say. And I'm just going to use this little kind of silicone thing just to add some extra bits in there. But like, honestly, it's already sheer perfect. Like, that's like molten gold. Who the fuck? Right, I assume she's made some sort of a deal with the devil. Oh, you crafty little minx, you. Can we just appreciate the fact that I didn't use the shade Endangered? Like, it's staring at me and I swatched it and it's beautiful, but I'm trying to just generally test a few things. I went into the shade Maneater because that's what the fucking palette is called after. So it would have been weird if I didn't at least test that one. And my goodness, the pigment of this, look at that. Look at it. You can see it from space, lads. NASA are currently calling and being like, Teresa, tone it down a bit. It's a lot. Oh, this is so pretty. And I'm sure you're like, it doesn't match the other side. Just chill out, breathe. Everything's going to be fine. This is so pigmented. So pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna just take a bit on my finger because screw it. That's what we're doing. I mean, look, even more a pigment. And then just using this tool again just to get around the edges. There we go. Hashtag close enough. And then the last shimmer that I'm looking at is this shade Predator, and I so appreciate that there's like this bright, vibrant pop. I think it's really cool. I will say though, this doesn't come on quite as vibrant as the rest. Like you have to build this one up. So I think maybe this one might need a little bit of extra attention. It's almost kind of functioning a bit more as like a topper, in my opinion. So you can see, like, using the same sort of tools all around and getting a slightly different feel with this one. Like, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but like if she wants actual feedback, I'm a bit panicky. So I'm gonna try with my finger again. Oh my lord, I've made a bit of a dent in that. It's very softly pressed, and I mean, it's definitely improved when you do it this way, but yeah, it just isn't as powerful, I think, in terms of pigment as the others. Again, using this silicone, and I'm just gonna pop that there just in an attempt to get it to go there a little bit further. And now I'm just using a blank canvas E10 and just kind of swishing between them just to blend them. And they do actually blend pretty nicely. I'm going to take a bit more of the pink, the Predator, just to spread it out a bit more, because that does unfortunately have a bit of a tendency to get lost. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. I'm obviously gonna put on liner. I'm gonna smoke this out a little bit. But yeah, you're getting an idea of how this very early version of this palette is working out. So hopefully I will have an update soon as to what is going on, and you can be part of the process. I actually figured I'd come back on so you could see the full eye look, so that you could have like total context. It's grungy. I like it. And of course, the pops of colour. I'll zoom you in now so you can see it. And somehow, miraculously, I refrained from putting on any sort of gems. Don't know how that happened. And yes, this lash is being what some might call a little bitch, but it'll be fine. Anyways, this is what the first iteration of this palette is looking like right this moment. If you want to see the next iteration, or 2 or 3, who knows how many there are, then that is the next part of the video. I've been meaning to sit down and film about this for ages, but I've been horribly remiss, so bear with me. I spoke with Ruks about this particular palette. I gave some of my feedback as to what I thought would be useful, you know, in terms of going forward. So I really said that I would like to see a black shadow in here, because I just felt it needed that extra depth. And Ruks agreed with me. So as you're looking at this palette now, it's not going to be exactly what we get on the day. So I think we settled on getting rid of this shade and putting in a black instead, which I think made a little bit more sense. I then was kind of talking to her, particularly, I believe, about the shades Hunter and Tiger, because for me, they look exactly the same almost on my skin tone. And I even swatched it for her, and I kind of showed her that they look pretty darn similar. And I'm going to show you feline as well, so we get a little bit more. Yeah, those 3 looked, God, I have hair everywhere. That these 3 looked really, really similar, in my opinion. Now, Ruks then swatched them on herself, and they looked totally like there were 3 different shadows. So I was like, oh shit, this is me in my super white skin, and this is what it looks like on me. So obviously Ruks has a totally different skin tone, and it was really interesting to see that. So for those of you who are as pale as me, you're going to see that these shades do perform quite similarly. But if you have a deeper skin tone, it's going to look a bit different. And I tested this out on Sahil because he's my little guinea pig. We also talked, myself and Ruks, about the beautiful grungy shade of Camouflage, and she is making sure that there's no spelling error on this. And she's gone back and reformulated it several times since we discussed this, and she's just now gotten a really nice formulation on it, so it's not patchy etc anymore. So I'm like really happy on that. She's also been going back and forward with me in terms of what the black is going to look like, and oh my god, the black that she's ended up settling on, I can't even use the word settling. It is spectacular. It's super, super pigmented. So I'm really, really excited about this. And I don't know if I'll be getting like the updated palette. I don't really care if I do or not because I have this, so I'm really, really happy with that. But I might end up getting the updated palette myself. Like I'll just buy it because I think it's really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, that's the update on that particular conversation. So we're continuing on with a little bit more of the behind the scenes of the making of the Maneater Untamed palette by Arttitude Cosmetics. I just happened to be along for the ride. So I have the initial prototype palette here, and I have the final version. You can see there's a little bit of difference even here in the packaging. This one is a little bit blacker, this one's a little bit more green, but that's not kind of the major thing, let's be real, nobody cares about that. The packaging itself is obviously still relatively similar. You have the same sort of image across both. That's the old one, this is the new one. But the big thing that we really see is a couple of changes. Actually, nothing major, but a few little changes. So I'm going to have the new palette here in this hand. So you might see we have the addition of a black shade there where there's like a blue shimmer had been, that's down there, and we kind of decided to swap around some of the blues. So for example, Free used to be a kind of a more kind of matte blue like that, and that has actually changed around into a shimmer. The shade Wanted actually is kind of what Free used to be, and that is now replaced with the black. So kind of cool to see. But obviously the biggest thing is, let's look at some swatches, because the way that some of the swatches kind of worked in the last one was a little bit whatever. So I'm going to take Camouflage from the old one, and this is it here, and this is what it looked like. And then Camouflage in the new one, and you can see it's a little bit more yellow toned, so that is looking really cool. Now for me, the big question is going to be, how does the matte black actually look? And oh, that's nice. A nice amount of pigment there, but there aren't many changes to the palette other than that. Like there's some little changes with formulas, making them a little bit more blendable, a little bit more pigmented. Other than that, nothing major. But my friends, that is it. That's the Arttitude Cosmetics making of, behind the scenes sort of thing. And I will obviously have a look with the new finished palette as well, so keep an eye out for that. But that, my friends, is it. That was the making of the Arttitude Cosmetics Untamed Maneater palette. It was super cool. This has been going on for months. Well done to Ruks. I feel this is the most interesting colour story that she has done so far, and it has been very, very cool getting to give her feedback. She's always super, super receptive. Some people get very like, don't you dare criticise my thing, but she is super open to that, and I think that's really, really helpful. Go check out the brand, they're really fantastic. I have quite a few things from them that I love, this palette included, but also things like their paint split liner. Love that, it's spectacular. But keep an eye out next for a video using this newly formulated palette. I'm excited. But that's it, my friends. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you can see the next video, and do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case wrap it up, don't be gross. But that's it, that's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.